All right, we've come a long, long way. It's definitely by God's grace. We do thank God for you all tuning into the broadcast and being a part of what God is doing right here and right now. You are tuning in to Guts Gospel Not Saved, a variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping that you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. I'm your host, Nikki V, and we're also dealing with developing leaders around you. And the leader's primary responsibility is identifying potential leaders. Now, I know some leaders don't think that that's a priority, because if I'm identifying a leader, I'm identifying my replacement. That's how we look at things. I know that that's a skewed vision, because that's not what God is saying. But again, that's how we look at things, so we don't understand that our priority as leaders is to identify potential leaders. Not to kill them, not to get rid of them. See, remember, Herod did that. He knew and they identified that there was a child that was going to be born, and that child was going to take over as king. So Herod went around killing and slaughtering all the male-born children who are under the age of 2, because he identified potential leader and saw it as a threat. Sometimes in churches we identify potential leaders and see them as threats rather than help. Same thing happened in Egypt with Moses. There was the identification of a potential leader that was coming to deliver the people. And so they ran and they killed all the young men under the age of 2. The male child. They destroyed the potential leader. They identified that there was one. They don't know which one it is, so they destroyed every potential leader in attempts to get the one. And in both instances, of course, the potential leader still was able to come forward. So understand this as leaders. Even if you're trying to secure your job, make sure that you have continued to empower. The problem with that is you will have destroyed all your help, and you will be left with still having to face the reckoning of the one who's coming to replace you. So you might as well identify potential leaders and build them up rather than destroy everything around you. To develop positive, successful people, look for gold, not the dirt. It's very important that we understand that. Look for gold, not the dirt. Oftentimes we try to manipulate folks by trying to know what it is that can hurt them and hold that over them. But that's not the primary tactic for persuasion, although it is a tactic and it does work. But it's the least of all the tactics for persuasion that is useful. The highest level of persuasion is love. Because if someone loves you and is not motivated by fear, their work continues in your absence. If they're motivated by fear, you have to continue to keep the fear on them. That's why our governments and the world system has generated such a fear machine. Even the fact that we have terrorists and terrorist groups and terrorist cells. All of this is manufactured, and I'm not saying that they don't exist, but it has been manufactured to maintain a level of fear that will persuade us to do what needs to be done, or persuade us to lose some of the liberties that we cherish because it's a trade-off, in which we're willing to trade it off because of our fear. Now, love also has the same result, or a better result, because love is, without having to continue to have that angle of fear, will cause productivity. That's why God said, by this shall they know that you are my disciples, the love that you have one to another. Because when you demonstrate that love produces, and you can even see it in some groups of people that aren't Christians, but they bond together with the knit of love and unity. They care about one another so much so that they do not want to see the demise of the other. And because of that, they work hard to make the whole thing work. It's not because I'm afraid of you. It's not because I want you to be so, get so many points. And I want to make sure that I get off of your bad list. It's because I want to please you. I want to make you happy. because I love you. And that kind of motivation goes much further than any other motivation tactic that can be used. Now, there's like about 7 levels of motivational tactics. I'm not going to go through that today. But I gave you the base one, which is fear. And I gave you the top one, which is love. Now, there is something much more important and scarce than ability. It's the ability to recognize ability. One of the primary responsibilities of a successful leader is to identify potential leaders. It's not always an easy job, but it is critical. Now, Dale Carnegie was a master at identifying potential leaders. Once asked by a reporter how he had managed to hire 43 millionaires, Carnegie responded that the men had not been millionaires when they started working for him. They had become millionaires as a result. The reporter next wanted to know how he had developed these men to become such valuable leaders. And Carnegie replied, "Men are developed the same way gold is mined. Several tons of dirt must be moved to get an ounce of gold. But you don't go into the mine looking for dirt," he added. "You go in looking for gold." And that's exactly the way to develop positive, successful people. Look for the gold, not the dirt. The good, not the bad. The more positive qualities you look for, the more you're going to find. But if you're always looking for, I can't trust this person might want to take my job, this person has some shady-looking characteristics, you'll never develop anybody, nor will you use anybody, because you're always afraid, unless they're, of course, relatives. And that's why we see so many family churches. And I'm not knocking family churches. I'm just saying that's the reason why you see so many, because people are not looking for the gold, they're looking at the dirt. And you don't want to take the time to scrape off the dirt to get to the gold. Now, it's worth it, but we don't often do it. So let's talk about selecting the right players, selecting the right participants, identifying the potential, seeing who we can use. Professional sports organizations recognize the importance of selecting the right players. Every year, coaches and owners of professional baseball, basketball, and football teams look forward to the draft. To prepare for it, sports franchises spend much time and energy scouting new prospects. For instance, scouts from pro football organizations travel to regular season college games, bowl games, senior-only bowl games, and camps to gain knowledge about prospective players. All of this enables the scouts to bring plenty of information back to the owners and head coaches, so that when draft day arrives, the teams can pick the most promising players. Team owners and coaches know that the future success of their team depends largely on their ability to draft effectively. It's no different in business, and it's definitely no different in church. You must select the right players in your organization. If you put people in leadership that are destructive to your ministry, guess what? Your ministry is going to fail. And in the same way, if you put leaders in your business that are destructive to the business will fail. If you put the right players in place, you have a successful organization. If you select well, the benefits are multiplied and seem nearly endless. If you select poorly, the problems are multiplied and they also seem endless. Too often, leaders hire employees haphazardly because of desperation, lack of time, or just plain ignorance. They quickly grab any candidate who comes along. Now, you think that's interesting for employers. You see this in church. Anybody that comes along that even shows any availability automatically gets the job. You know, it even happens sometimes when we're talking about praise and worship. All right, you here. Come on up and do praise and worship. That may not be a successful method of choosing the players. You ought to select people who you can groom to be effective worshipers. I know I hurt somebody's feelings just ending there. Then they hold their breath and hope everything works out. You trust God. Oh, Jesus, Lord, the Holy Ghost move upon them. Bless them, Lord. Get them to be anointed. And yeah, how about really cultivating that kind of characteristic? But hiring needs to be done strategically. Before you hire a new employee, your options are nearly limitless. Once you have made the hiring decision, your options are few. Hiring an employee is like skydiving. Once you've jumped out of the plane, you're committed. It's done. Done deal. The key in making the right choice depends on two things. One, your ability to see the big picture. And two, your ability to judge potential employees during the selection process. Can you look at them and say, I can see where the potential is. Can you look at the person and go, I see the potential leader, or are you just grabbing whoever's there because you need somebody right now? And it doesn't matter the ripple effects are of it right now. You just need somebody to fill a position, and you don't want that position to go void. We've done that a lot in the church, haven't we? Just fill positions because we need the position to be filled. We need a body in there. Now, it's a good idea to start with an inventory. John Maxwell used this one because he always wanted to look inside as well as outside of the organization to find candidates. And he calls this list the 5 A's. Assessment of needs. That's one. What is needed? Assets on hand. Who are the people already in the organization who are available and could do? Availability of candidates. Who is able? The ability of the candidates. The attitude of the candidates. Who is willing? Who is available? The accomplishments of the candidates. Who gets things done? Who gets things done? Now, notice that the inventory begins with an assessment of needs. The leader of the organization must base that assessment on the big picture. While he was the manager of the Chicago Cubs, Charlie Grimm reportedly received a phone call from one of his scouts. The man was excited and began to shout over the phone, "Charlie, I've landed the greatest young pitcher, every man who came to bat, 27 in a row. Nobody even hit a foul until the 9th inning. The pitcher is right here with me. What shall I do?" Charlie replied. "Sign up the guy who got the foul. We're looking for hitters." Charlie knew what the team needed. "I don't need another pitcher. Great that he's great, but we got a great one. What I need is someone who can hit the ball." We also have to assess that kind of thing in our churches. What is it that we need? What is our goal? What are we trying to do? What do we need to make ministry work? And when you assess that, don't keep piling up more musicians or more this or more that, when really all you really need is a nice intercessory prayer ward. Find that. Seek that one out. Just saying. Now, I'm going to come back to this, but I got to go to a break. We thank God for you all who are tuned into the broadcast. You are tuned in the Guts, Gospel Mom Safe. Variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping that you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. I'm your host, Nikki V, and we thank you for tuning into the broadcast. We hope you'll continue to tune in, and we hope that you will continue to be a part of what God is doing right here and right now. We are getting ready to transition, but we hope that you will stick with us and be a part of what God is doing right here and right now. The number to call for today, because we are experiencing some technical difficulties, is 954-561-1553 or 954-561-1554. That's the number that you'll call in order to be able to talk with us during the live broadcast. Now, when you do the replay, which comes on usually at 3:30 or 6 p.m., the number will not be useful to you. Won't help you because we won't be here. But we thank you for tuning into the broadcast. I'm Nikki V, hoping you will have the guts to tell somebody about this. We'll be right back. Do you feel it now? Do you feel it? I feel your spirit. Hezekiah Walker, Azusa, The Next Generation is the name of the project. Song is I Feel Your Spirit right here on Guts, Gospel United Saved, a variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping that you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. I thank God for each and every one of you. We were talking about developing leadership around you. We were talking about understanding the fact that we have to identify potential leaders and identify them, not to cut them out, but to raise them up. All right? Now, and understanding not only potential leaders, but potential leaders that you need. Not just potential leaders for the sake of potential leaders, but what you need to maximize your organization. Now, there is one situation that supersedes a needs analysis. When a truly exceptional person is available but doesn't necessarily match your current need. Do whatever you can to hire him or her anyway. In the long run, that person will positively impact the organization. You see this kind of decision making in sports. Football coaches generally draft players to fill specific needs. If they lack a strong running back, the draft is the best running back available. But sometimes they get an opportunity to draft as somebody who is an impact player, a superstar, who can instantly change the whole complexion of the team. Incidentally, impact players usually possess not only athletic abilities. Let me let you listen to the song some more. WXY. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I had technical difficulties with my stuff, so hold on. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, I tell you, God's moving all down in my soul. I hope He's moving in your soul. We're talking about the superstar players, and in a minute, I'm going to definitely bring in some very important information that you're going to need from Harvest Reapers International Schools Ministry. Talking about those impact players, athletic ability, the exceptional superstar. And you have to find a good place for them. Good people are hard to find, and there's always room for one more productive person in your organization. But you can't get a productive person and make them idle. You got to get a productive person and be useful with them. We thank God for you all tuning into the broadcast. You're tuning into Guts, Gospel United Saved, a variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. Right now, Harvest Reapers International School Ministry update. or oh, here I lay. Can't help them all. Yeah, has God been blessing you? Do you find yourself lately counting your blessings? Counting my blessings, Marsha Love, right here on Guts, Gospel 97. A variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping that you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. I'm your host, Nikki V, and unfortunately today, the number that you would have to call when we're live today is 954-561-1553 or 954-561-1554. Those are the numbers to call to join in the conversation, to receive prayer, to let me know, hey, I love that song. Can you play that again? Or whatever that is going on in your mind. We're going to pray with you, cry with you, laugh with you. Whatever we need to do to get you to the point of breakthrough. That's what we want to do. And we're dealing with a topic that is important for us as leaders to understand. And for people who intend to be leaders, or people who are in ministry to understand. Now, I was talking about the superstar, the impact player. And incidentally, impact players usually possess not only athletic ability, but also leadership skills. Even as rookies, they have all the qualities to be team captains. So when you are looking for a superstar, you're not looking for a superstar, you're not looking for the diva. You're looking for the one who understands role, understands position, understands how to work leadership. And their superstardom or their qualities only enhance or impact ministry. So usually we are not judging superstars, and the decisions are harder to make. How do pro teams evaluate potential players? Now, many use a grid that yields a score for each player based on their abilities. In the same way, we need to have a tool to help evaluate people's potential as leaders. Now, I'm getting ready to give a list of 25 characteristics to help you rate and identify a potential leader. I'm going to do that after the break, though. Hiring an employee is like skydiving. Once you've jumped out the plane, you are committed. So let's get an assessment of current leadership qualities for potential leaders. And we're going to do that right after we come back. You are tuned in to Guts, Gospel United Save, a variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping that you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. I'm your host, Nikki V, and we do thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast and being part of what God is doing right here and right now. We haven't forgotten. We're still going to talk about beginning of Passover. We'll probably do that at the last portion of the time. But we do thank God for you all who are tuned into the broadcast and who have been listening in. You are tuned into Guts, Gospel United Save, a variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping that you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. And yours, Nikki B. The number to call for right now is 954-554, or 954-561-1553, or 954-561-1554. And we do thank God for all of you who are tuned into the broadcast, who are working with us in our endeavors to make a difference in the lives of people. Hoping you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. I'm your host, Nikki B. We'll be back in a moment.